Like in the Philippines, for me, the standard is pretty high.
Now, this is the $1 million question. What is your average weekly pay as an online teacher in New Zealand? Alright guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Yayang Veloso and I have here my very good friend. She is a registered teacher here in New Zealand as well as in the Philippines. Please welcome Teacher Pit.
Hi everyone, this is Teacher Pit in New Zealand. Feel free to follow me on Facebook. Yayang will include the link.
Nung promote naman. Dito na.
Joke.
Muna ka hi. And then later na ka mag-promote.
Oh, sige. Hey guys, this is Pete Angeli or Pete Angeli Lancederas Lagansoy. I'm very honored and glad that Yayang Veloso invited me for his vlog. May pakain pa guys.
Yeah, and of course we have wine as well.
Yeah, cheers! So this is not actually...
We are going to talk about her journey and experience, right, in becoming a registered teacher here in New Zealand. Tell us about how did you get here in New Zealand in the first place?
Well, the reason why I am in New Zealand is because my husband works and lives here. That's the main reason. Because without my husband, and if my husband is not here, then there's no point in coming in New Zealand.
Right.
Because technically, I am destined to teach in China way back 2022.
Right.
So we were
you were initially applying for China.
China.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because your husband works here, and that's when you applied for, was it a partnership visa?
My husband applied me a visa to come
Right.
here, and yeah, I said yes because I'm the wife. Submit to your husband. According to the Bible.
Yeah, I mean it would be really hard, you know,
it's hard
to be on a long distance relationship, and then
True.
here comes the opportunity to be able to reunite with your husband. So that's really good. Now, when you got here, I remember that was the other December.
Yeah,
Right?
it was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that was the other December. And what was your first job?
So first job initially was I was working out on my teaching registration.
Right.
And then after that, all jobs, as long as it pays my bills, as long as there's money. So
Yeah.
it's one of the things that I realized when I come in New Zealand that dili uso pa social here because the
True.
bills and the inflation is skyrocketing.
True.
So you really need to work really hard to pay that bills.
Yeah. So you worked as a caregiver. You told me about that. You work also as a carer of a child with special needs.
Yeah, a support worker.
And you also worked as a diversional therapist. So she's a registered teacher, but you know, when here in New Zealand, you just gotta work whatever it is that would pay your bills.
As long as you have the proper the working rights and
Yes.
the visa, so
Yeah.
I think you should be fine.
Right. Now we're gonna go into your job as a caregiver. How was it? Like, did you have any experience back in the Philippines?
No
or-
experience at all. I was really shocked why
Right.
they hired me. I don't know.
How was it? How was it? How was the experience?
It was really good because it is something new to me. Like I never experienced taking care of oldies to begin with, but but because of that experience, you know, my compassion was what do you call that?
And we have that, you know, Filipino
Mentality.
Yeah, we have the
of-
Filipino trait that we really care for the
Yeah.
elderly people, right?
True,
like
true.
in the Philippines, our grandmothers and grandfathers live with one child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, live with one
yeah.
child. And
It's really different in New Zealand because once you get old,
yeah.
like all your kayamanans and all your ari-arian
Yeah,
goes to the
sakto.
government.
That's really
And
true.
yeah, you as an oldie, as a good old man or woman, you'll go to some of the rest homes.
Yeah, and I have to add to that, like when people reach the age of 60 or 65 here in New Zealand, they travel and they spend their money, because then if they go to a rest home when they get old, like really old, 80 years old and 90 years old, they will be supported by the government. But if they have money in their bank, they won't be able, the government will not support them until they spend all their money in the bank. So yeah, that's just one thing.
Yeah.
And so after that, you were working on your registration, and then finally you got your registration what month?
I forgot about it, to be honest.
You already finished your wine.
Gusto kay kuminom. Thanks. David.
Alright.
Okay.
You got your registration.
Yeah.
That was last year?
Actually, I made a vow to the Lord, to be honest, because my husband told me that he's very confident that I can get any sorts of job.
Yeah.
Like, there are plenty of working opportunities in New Zealand. So, like, we have the visa, and why care and worry about jobs? As long as it's a decent job, then you can just go for it.
True.
But I talked to the Lord before I work out my teaching registration. I told him, Lord, kabalo ko na this teaching registration, you know, the process is very rigorous. Like, it's very hard, guys.
Yes.
I almost gave up, to be honest, from the documentation, apostillation, verification, blah, blah, blah. Not to mention the English test.
Yes.
And it cost me an arm and a leg. It was so expensive. But
So what's the council that you applied into? Like, you know, in our case, as a registered nurse, we applied to Nursing Council of New Zealand. Now, for registered teachers.
So it's a teaching council.
Teaching council, okay.
Teaching council.
And then you got your registration when?
I forgot about it, maybe.
But that was how many months after you got here in New Zealand?
It was...
Several months.
Yeah, several...
6 months?
3 months, 6 months?
3 months.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. And then I remember you told me her first job was in a public school.
Yeah, so I was working for my registration to become a registered teacher.
All right.
Yeah, so I work as an assistant teacher.
Yeah, assistant teacher. Right.
So-
yeah. How was the experience? Tell us briefly about it.
It was exactly the same as being a teacher. It's just that we don't compute grades, we don't release grades.
Right.
We teach lessons, we do plannings, we assist children. In my case, I was assigned in ESOL, or the English as a second language field,
Right.
as well as students with special needs. I undergo trainings first before being immersed in that job. And it was really fun. I should say that I think I was born to be a teacher, because I was able to adjust in just a short period of time.
Right. And now, by the way, guys, she is now working. Don't talk when your mouth is full. She is now working as an online teacher. Right? I have actually applied for this job, but then I was unfortunate to get the job. It's not for me.
Teaching is not for everyone, but I know you're good.
So we're gonna talk about the experience. So there will be 4 things that I'm gonna ask her, and we're gonna talk about. The first one is, how did she get the online teaching job? The second one is, we're gonna ask her about her salary, her weekly salary, because she's able to view her weekly
Payslip reveal.
payslip reveal every week. So we're gonna ask her just the average, not really the exact amount.
Yeah.
And the third question we're gonna ask her is, what's her overall experience as an online registered teacher, right? And then the fourth one, which is very important and might be relevant to my viewers in the Philippines, especially those who are teachers, is, what is the difference between working here in New Zealand and working in the Philippines? All right, so let's talk about, how did you get the job?
I sent my applications online, and then I just completed all the steps and requirements. And then I wasn't expecting to be hired, to be honest, because I know it's an Australian and New Zealand company. Like, it's a pioneering big company around New Zealand and Australia. This
Right,
company.
so do you teach students who are in New Zealand or in Australia, or do you teach, do you have students from all over the world?
80% Australian, 10% I should say New Zealand, and the rest of the 10% I've got Indians, Fiji, China. So it really depends. That's why you really need to work hard for your score, because the company will give you lots of students from all over the world. Yeah, so
all over the world.
yeah,
10%.
so China, Japan. So recently when you came here, I've got a Japanese student. That's why I said
came here.
wala nag-aksyon, tapos bumabash na po ko ni.
That's alright.
Fine.
So yeah, that's how you got the job. And the second question is, which is very, I think we're gonna park this until we get, this will be the last question we're gonna ask her. So the second question would be, what is your overall experience as an online teacher? Is it something that you like, or are there any pros? Are there any cons? Tell us about it.
It is something that I didn't expect, and I extremely like it because, to be honest, I've got series of job offers. Not to brag, but recently, before this online teaching opportunity, I was able to teach high school, right? And in ECE. Do you remember that? Do you remember when I call you and ask for wisdom if I should go for ECE and high school? To cut the long story short, I've got teaching experience, right? In ECE?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you remember,
What's the meaning of ECE?
Early childhood education.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got teaching experience already in New Zealand, and yeah, right now I'm working online due to my distance, and practically speaking, online teaching is it's an advantage for me and my husband because we've saved a lot. We save gasoline, we save time, effort, and of course, I can take care of my husband because we've been in a long distance relationship for like 5 years. So
I think most of us, if not all, are dreaming to work from home, right? Because we don't need, you just wake up, like if your class or if your work starts at 10 a.m. then you can wake up at 9:30. You just have to,
fix your upper part, and then lower part, it's totally fine. So it's like that, showing the top.
So
and my husband also told me that he's more comfortable of me working here. I mean, working online. Because I've been applying for random schools already since last year. I even got an offer in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me about it.
Yeah,
what was the offer all about? But how can you?
Teaching, still in. Yeah.
Are they going to sponsor you?
They will sponsor me. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but when I
Where about in Australia?
New South Wales. When I spoke to my husband, so
you turned it down?
Yeah, I turned down the offer. It was last year because my husband's decision will be my decision.
Yeah,
and like what I said, I will always submit to my husband as long as
it's necessary and as long as it's reasonable, right?
True.
Now the third question is, what is the difference between working here in New Zealand and working in the Philippines? Which one is better? We're not gonna compare about working as an online teacher versus working in the Philippines, but we're gonna compare about
as a teacher, as a whole.
Working as a teacher in the classroom, because she worked in a classroom before as well, and she worked in a classroom in the Philippines. So what was the difference? Tell us briefly about it.
Let's start with the teaching itself. Like in the Philippines, no hate, but for me the standard is pretty high. The paperworks are killing me, to be honest. The paperworks are almost killing me, and not to mention the compensation is really low. Like I'm not sure if this will be against me or what, but I'm just.
This is your own opinion and
this is my own opinion and my experience, so I'm entitled to express it. So
yeah,
the paperwork is really draining. And
what paperwork? The lesson plan?
Lesson planning, grades, and then after that you still have to consult the principal, check the grades if it's correct, input everything, Excel, blah blah blah, if you know what I mean. So in short, it's really draining, it's really exhausting. And I never gained weight when I was working in the Philippines, but the best thing in the Philippines is your holistic personality. You'll be very flexible and you will really improve as a teacher. Because in the Philippines, I was not just working as an English teacher, but I also experienced several roles, like being a school paper advisor, dance club moderator. Yeah, dance club moderator, and
as a teacher.
Yeah.
But you're still a teacher, but you have this.
Yeah, I have several
responsibilities.
responsibilities. Yeah, so yeah, a lot. So you know what I mean? You will really be trained to be jack of all trades.
All right, in the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Now, how about in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, I should say it's very chill because their focus here is on like English, maths, and science. I mean, they do have physical education, arts, music, but they're focused with the Ensaima. they have exactly the same
What's
subject.
Ensaima?
English, science,
English, science, and math.
Yeah,
Ah,
and
okay.
SIMA. So that's their main focus. Like when I was still working in a high school classroom, I often go to classes with Ensaima classes from Monday to Thursday.
But do they still focus on English? Like it's already an English speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, they are native English speakers, but English is so broad. I tell you, it doesn't only focus on your speaking skills, but we've got this writing, we've got listening, and we've got, what's that? IELTS. In listening, writing, speaking, and what was that?
I don't know.
Reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
I don't
not
know.
not all students here are good
Really
at
good, yeah.
spelling and writing, so you really need to teach them the mechanics of writing, like
Right.
specialization, I mean capitalization, punctuation, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I think my follow-up question would be: do you get like trainings before you could study? Before you could teach a student online?
Yeah, we do have intensive training.
All right.
Because you will be marked.
Right.
We've got metrics and scoring, so if your scores are low, they
Yeah.
will not give you students. So you
Yeah.
really need work hard for it.
Of course, yeah. I
Yeah.
asked because if there are registered teachers in the Philippines who are watching, they probably would. Oh, how would I be able to teach them? Do we have like a format or any training?
Yeah.
So there is. Now
It's really different
other question
from sure.
is
Keep going.
now what if your salary in the Philippines and your salary here in New Zealand, all right, are the same? Would you choose to go back to the Philippines and
work?
teach?
That's a very tough question. But I think no. No.
Because of course, I think I have to add to that. But we've talked about before some of the benefits here in New Zealand. And,
yes.
So I think
The benefits. Well, teachers in the Philippines, I think they are fairly paid now. That's what I've heard from my co-teachers who are working in the Philippines, especially.
But what's
in
your
Dep
reason
Ed.
why
Yeah.
you don't want to go back there and teach?
I think because New Zealand is a piece of heaven. The country itself, the view, like I know it's a combination of happiness and sadness, especially during my first 3 months.
Ang
Oh my
lalim.
God. Maka-homesick jud siya. But
Of course, yeah. But you've got your husband here.
yeah,
And
even if my husband is there, I still feel the loneliness. Even if I don't
It's so-
I don't
yeah.
need to and I don't have to.
it still hits different, right? Like Philippines is still our number one home, but of course, life is too short to be staying in one place. Now, this is the $1 million question. What is your average weekly pay as an online teacher in New Zealand?
Average, okay, from smallest to largest per week.
Yeah.
Okay, per week. So when I was still working in the classroom, I am usually paid fortnightly. Yeah, but working as an online registered teacher, our salary is reflected weekly.
Yeah.
But it's given fortnightly. So we will eventually know that our salary in that week is this amount.
Yeah.
So an average of 1,500 to 1,900. It really depends if you got lots of students allocated.
Right.
So you just have to turn on your allocation of students, and the company will give you lots of students. Especially if you're doing good, they will give you lots of students.
Right.
And for my part, I've got lots of students almost every day. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
So
You're busy. She's busy. Yeah. Every time I call her, she would, end the call straight away because.
sorry, ma'am.
That's it, guys. If you have questions about the topic, any suggestion or any recommendations, please comment it down below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Please don't forget to follow Fit on her social media as well. She's got a YouTube account and she's got Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. I think it is really worth following her because she shares her life and work here in New Zealand, so I highly recommend that one. And guys, if you find value in this vlog, please hit like and subscribe if you haven't, and hit that bell button for you to receive notifications of my new videos. And as always, don't forget to think young and stay young.
Goodbye. See you in my next vlog.